I would like to introduce another Carey School alumni, Diane Parke, and her Panther Points of Pride video.
Hi, I'm Diane Parke. I graduated from Carey High School in 1962. Well, one of the ones that I can remember is we were having a play, and I was in the play, and the name of it was Mr. Crane of Sleepy Hollow. And our principal happened to be the English teacher at the time, and he was putting on the play. And as kids always do, we were goofing around and carrying on, and nobody had their parts memorized, and so he left and said he wasn't going to do the play. And so that shamed us, and we learned our parts, and we did a really good job, I think, on the play. And everyone commented on how good it was, and my dad recorded a horse whinny. He's really good at sounding like a horse. And everybody looked around to see if a horse was coming down the aisle of the gym where the play was being held. Well, I can't say that I really had a favorite as a favorite. I really enjoyed all the teachers that were there. And we had good English teachers, we had good math teachers, we had good social studies teachers, good music teachers. I just felt like we had a really wonderful education at Carey High School. Well, some of the people that I ran around with, there were only 7 girls in our class, and when we graduated, 7 girls and 7 boys, so I can remember most of the girls. Corrine Marks and Margaret Ward and Beverly Whitby and Karen Olson, and I can't remember her married name now, Sharon Stanford and Karen Sweat, and I've probably left out someone but I don't mean to. And then some of my other friends were Marie Cameron and Sherry Alberson and Leela Twombly and of course Margaret Pyra Ward. Well, in the wintertime it seemed like there was a little bit more to do for fun. I was always afraid of the water, so I didn't go swimming or anything like that in the summertime. But in the wintertime, we did a lot of sledding and playing in the snow and skating out at the lake. They would light these old tires on fire out at the lake and have a bonfire, and just everybody would go out there almost every evening in the wintertime, and it was a real good time. And I can just remember I was a cheerleader, and I'd been skating out at the lake, and I must have fallen down a lot because my whole knees were just covered with bruises. And anyway, I was embarrassed to be in my cheerleading outfit because of my knees, but I had to do it anyway. Well, when I was in high school, all I wanted to be was a mother and have a family and make a home and all of those kind of things. After our children came along, I enjoyed doing that, and our children came along and got older and needed education, and they were going to serve missions for our church, and we could see that it was not going to be possible on the salary that we had, and in those days kids didn't earn a lot of money either, and so I decided to go back to school like my mother did and get my education. And so I went back, and I had to go over to Pocatello to school, and I got some of my education at CSI. I've got about a semester's worth at CSI. I'd gone to BYU for 2 years, but I was having to do this after I was married and had our family. But anyway, I went to Twin Falls to CSI for a semester, and then I went to Pocatello, and I went with my sister-in-law, and we stayed over from Tuesday night till Thursday night and went to our classes there. Then the next semester she was done, but I had to go and by myself, and I stayed over there from Monday until Friday. And Dar and my mother and all the kids were so supportive, and I'm going to cry thinking about it now. Anyway, they all did their job, and it made it possible. So anyway, everyone did their part and made it possible for me to get my education. And so anyway, when I went to get a job, there wasn't one available here in Carey, and so one of the music teachers had left, and I took that job for a little while and did that for about 6 weeks, and then the next year I didn't, again, there wasn't an opening there in Carey, and so I went to Dietrich for the first year that I taught, and I taught the second and third grade together. And that was quite an experience, but I really enjoyed the people there and the students. And so then the principal called and asked if my mother would teach. She'd already retired from Carey High School and had taught here for 20 years. And not Carey High School, but the elementary school. And so then she came with me. She said, yeah, she'd come out of retirement, and she went to Dietrich and taught too. And so I still have really good friends down there, even though that was about 25 years ago. Then Phyllis Hendrickson left Carey, and she was the fourth grade teacher, and Bob Bash was kind enough to recommend that I get the job, and so I became the fourth grade teacher here at Carey, and I taught the fourth grade for 19 years at Carey. Yes, I think that I was ready for the next step from Carey School. It seems like in a small school, everyone has to be a part of everything in order to make everything work out all right, and you get a more well-rounded education, I think, because you experience a lot of different things. And I just feel like I know I was going to take a language class at BYU, and I was so worried about taking the language class, but we'd had a lady, Yolande Bennett, who was just she was just a stay-at-home mom, and they called her into Carey School to teach French to all of us. And I took a year of French from her, and then went to BYU and took 2 semesters of French, and I was able to do just as well as any of the rest of them that had taken French for 4 years in high school. And so that's just one example of how I think that a person has an opportunity to be well prepared when they come from a small school. Well, the hardest thing that I've ever gone through is when we lost our son Derek. And he was 2 weeks short of his 19th birthday and unexpectedly died over to BYU, Idaho. It was called Rick's College at the time. And it was a really hard thing to go through, but you really find out how good people are. And our home was just filled with people for about a week and a half, from people just wanting to come and give their condolences and help us and our family, and we had each other and our faith. And it's still hard. Sometimes you can see that you cry every once in a while, but at least you know and feel that he's all right, and that we were able to make it through this, and we'll just keep going. The advice I would give some of the students that are graduating in 2018 is to be sure that you have a plan for the rest of your life, that you want to have some ideas of how you would like to be, and that you stay true to that, and that you know that you can be someone, and that you can be whatever you want to be if you just work hard at it, and just don't let outside forces and don't let worldly things get in your way. Like I said, I'm most proud of my husband and our family, and we're kind of unusual, I think, kind of an oddity. We have all of our family that live right here by us, and it really gives us a lot of pleasure to enjoy the activities of their lives and to be with them, and we have a lot of enjoyment out of our grandchildren and going to their activities, their games and their musical things, and we really enjoy having them all around and dropping in on us. I'm Diane Parke, and I graduated from Carey High School.